Can I give you my 2 cents on this Nene and Carlos King interview? Okay, so first and foremost, Nene is the GOAT. She's the GOAT. I know a lot of people want to say Tammy Roman and Tiffany Pollard, New York, they're, like Tiffany set the stage for Nene. She crawled so Nene could run. But I honestly think that, and this is not me thinking that, because white people watch, that means it's better. No, I think because of ratings, Nene is the GOAT.
I'm not around with you.
Nene brought people to the yard. Every Sunday we were wondering, what's Nene gonna do? We weren't wondering what's Deshaun Snow gonna do, or what's Sheree gonna do, or even what's Kim gonna do. We were wondering, what's Nene gonna do?
I work.
Nene's the GOAT. And the ratings proved it because everybody was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's why I say Nene has a little bit more crossover appeal than, say, Tiffany Pollard or Tammy Roman. Though they are good in their own right. I mean, I enjoy both of them on their, respective roles. But Nene is the GOAT. Everybody knew who Nene was during her heyday between season 1 and season 6, or whenever she started cashing Trump checks. So Nene was the GOAT. But about this interview, part 1, it was a delight to see Nene on our screens again because, that's the old Nene we used to love. She was reading Carlos. She was being funny. She was doing some of her Nene-isms, the bloop, 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 looking into the camera, doing her Nene thing. We enjoyed that, right?
Very late guest.
And so we were all anticipating part 2 being this great interview, or then they were going to announce some partnership that they had, something that was going on. But no, we got more of Carlos King just basically booty licking.
Now I like you, now I want you.
He was kissing Nene's ass, telling her how great she was, telling her how she was the anchor, never making her, pushing her to own up to anything that went wrong with her career. And then Nene was somewhat delusional in thinking that Andy Cohen, who she accused of being a racist and being on booger sugar or nose candy or powder, whatever you want to call it, besides the word you can't say on YouTube, and you actually think that can be forgiven.
Lord be with this young man, he need a blessing.
And my question is, why do you want to be accepted so bad by Andy Cohen and Bravo, NBC Universal? You've already sued them. They're not, you are a flight risk. You're not that bankable that they can let bygones be bygones. I am certain that Bravo, before they let you go, before they started reducing your episodes, they were doing research and testings on your episodes. And that's why they know, we can let her go because the audience no longer likes Nene. The audience is no longer seeing Nene as funny. She's actually hard to watch. Like, Nene, I was always rooting for you. I was always hoping that the over-enunciating Nene, who's trying not to sound country and ignorant, would just go back to being the loud Nene, the fun, the unfiltered Nene, the, just say whatever comes to mind Nene. But
Immediately.
Instead, she was over-enunciating, trying to sound like she's smart and is cultured, but...
Since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing.
We can all see through that. We can all see inauthenticity when it's coming at us on the screen. Well, not everybody can see that because a lot of people really believe Kenya was with Walter, that Kenya was with Matt, who broke her window, that Kenya was actually with Walter, and that Kenya's with this new unknown rich white guy that Money Shaw hooked her up with.
No shade, no shade.
Nene needs to go back to being who Nene was, like humble herself, but she's not accountable. She cannot be accountable, and Carlos was not making her accountable because when he asked her certain questions, she would just say, "That's just how I feel."
So watch what you say. Watch what the you say.
But the next question should be, "But why do you feel that way, Nene? What made you go to this point to feel that way?" But he never pushed her. because he was doing something for himself. He was trying to catapult himself to another level. But to me, I just thought that was poor interviewing. And that's the one thing I hate about interviews with celebrities is like once you realize the machine and how it operates, that there's a list of questions beforehand that you can and cannot ask celebrities. And there's a direction that the interviews have to go in. And I feel like Carlos did not push hard enough.
Girl, you know why.
And that's where I will give Andy Cohen credit, because Andy asked the hard questions. He asked the questions that people don't necessarily want to answer, and I think that makes him a good interviewer. But guess what, Nene? You will probably never, ever be in front of Andy Cohen again unless you're in court.
Okay? Don't ever come by here. Okay?
They're not forgiving you. You're not that valuable to them. And it was obvious when they started. It should have been obvious the moment that they were reducing your episodes that you were no longer valuable. I know you have ownership in the show. She's like the employee who somebody comes in. I'm looking for a bra. Let me see what I have in back. You don't own this store. This is not your store. Nene, you're taking ownership into something you did not own. You did not own Real Housewives of Atlanta. At least Mariah on Married to Medicine can say she created the show. It was her idea. So at least she could take ownership in the show. But
do you want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts. What is she talking?
You were just a hired help, Nene. And you did your job. They paid you for it, but you messed up by suing them. You did not play your hand well, and it sucks for you because you've now been blackballed from the industry.
That's a terrible thing to say to me. Even to imply such untruths.
And then instead of moving on and reinventing yourself like everybody else in this world, because mind you, I'm trying to reinvent myself. I'm trying to switch it over, change careers, do something different. You have to reinvent yourself to keep it moving. You cannot rely. TV is not going to last. That's why they call it 15 minutes of fame. But she said in the interview that, she loves to talk. Talking is her thing and acting is her thing. I hope she's taking acting lessons. But she said she also had these podcast deals on the table that went away. A talk show potentially with Tom Arnold, which I'm like, how is that going to work with his nervous energy? Like Tom Arnold and Nene Leakes, that wasn't a match made in heaven. But she blamed it on Wendy Williams making it go away. But Nene's a little bit delusional. She never says what role she played in it. Because in life, it's never a one-way street. It's always two parties involved. It's usually two sides to the story, and somewhere in the middle, there's the truth, Nene.
But we good. The door is closed. The door is closed.
And I know Carlos knows the truth, and he just won't tell her because he's booty looking. And if y'all are going to go on tour together, y'all should at least film it so you can have content and you can have the tour. But why don't you just open up your computer like I did and just get you a Ring camera. I know you have one, Nene, because you were on that reunion and you closed your laptop. Open up that same laptop, get you a cheap mic, and start talking. And then let that build, because you have the advantage, Nene. You already have 1 million plus followers. You will have those same people come over to YouTube or go over to Patreon or go over to whatever. Go on Tasha K's channel. Go on Tasha K Live. Be a show on Tasha K Live if that's even an option.
That's what I said. Did I say that?
But Nene, do something. Reinvent yourself. Don't wait for people to reinvent you to get a deal. But I know she just wants an advance because she don't want to work that hard. But Nene, we would love to see you back on our screens, but you need to change that attitude. Check yourself before you continue to wreck yourself. Because you know what? The world owes you nothing.
If y'all really want to talk about it, ain't now one of y'all want me on the show.
And you've already burnt some bridges. Because at NBC Universal, you burnt that bridge and they own so much. And then the people who work at NBC Universal talk to other people at other networks. So, sorry, Nene. I hope you can get back on top because you do have a winning personality and you are the GOAT.
Scream.
Punk ass bitch.
And I agree with you. Most of those girls are starless. They cannot carry a show, which we see it now. Candy can't carry the show. Kenya thought she was the star. She thought she was going to take Nene's throne, and Nene was threatened by Kenya. I do agree with a lot of people, but Kenya can never take Nene's throne, but she let her ruffle her feathers. Oh, and about this Claudia battle with Nene, this whole read session. I know people think Claudia read her down, and I thought she did read her down, but I will stand by this. Claudia came locked and loaded with rehearsed reads. How are you gonna read Nene today from her bridesmaid show, her Nene, I Dream of Nene show? You're gonna read her for saying bridemaid? That always got to me. It's like your reads are locked and loaded, and you're reading her on Stripper, which was like 30 years ago. So it's like everything that you're reading her on was stuff that you were reading her as if you were a fan, a disgruntled fan of the show who just had a lot to say to Nene, and you came on the show ready. So, and I feel like Nene ended it with that gutter read of life.
You done slept with everybody. They don't want you. Your clit has left your body.
So, I mean, you know what? Let me know what you think. I know everybody has an opinion on it. So like and subscribe.